Hi everyone, it's Kathy, your instructor. Today I thought that I would show you just a little bit about some tips and tricks that I have learned when using this Select Coder website for looking up CPT codes, current procedural terminology codes. These are codes put to procedures and services rendered in our healthcare area. So a little bit different than the ICD-10 codes we did last week, which were for our diagnoses. So we're going to look at procedure codes today. So let's get logged in. So I'm going to be going through just a few examples for our Applying Your Skills cases 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3. So when the Select Coder, when you log in, your Select Coder main screen comes up. I have learned with this website that sometimes it's easier to go right to the Browse Codes link here rather than trying to search keywords, because I spent a lot of time trying to find specific things until I realized I could click this Browse Codes. Now every website looks a little different, and so playing around with this, I had to learn myself how to navigate as well. So when you click on Browse Codes, either you'll see right away it defaulted to this ICD-10. We could have gone right to CPT and then Browse Codes, or at the bottom we could click on CPT down here. So when we click on the Browse Codes, it shows kind of the index of the CPT books and how the book, actual book, if you actually had the physical book in front of you, how it is laid out. So we can see the different sections here that codes are combined together. They're categorized in these different sections. Now our book is good because for our case studies it tells us what section we're in. So this makes it a little easier. As a coder yourself, you would learn to figure out which sections some of these codes are found. So let's take a look. Our first coding, case 5.1 here, is for coding evaluation and management codes. I would suggest that you take a look at table 5.3 to get an idea of how these codes are separated out. It has to do with complexity and how much time and how much detail. Evaluation and management codes are our office visits or hospital visits that are more on an outpatient type of basis. So evaluation and management, I found that it's easiest, because I know what section I'm in, to click this little plus sign here to expand out the evaluation and management section of the CPT. And when you do that, you can see the subdivisions of evaluation and management codes. So, when we read each individual information that we're trying to put a code to, we sometimes have to decipher what's going on. Codes are not always going to be exactly like it is printed out on a document. For example, that would be way too easy, right? We wouldn't need coders if that were the case. So we need to actually abstract out this information and use all of our good medical language skills to figure out and maybe search for the right code. You might be doing this and find that this is a close code, but it is not exactly the right code. So that means we have to dig in a little bit deeper. It's investigative work. All right, so our first one for 5.1, letter A, office visit, new patient, detailed history and examination, low complexity medical decision making. Okay, so this is an outpatient visit that somebody came in for to see the doctor at a clinic. The patient is a new patient, and if you remember looking at the evaluation and management information in our book, or look at that table 5.3, the first thing we look at is it a new patient? Is it an established patient? That's the first thing to look at. Then we look at how much time does the doctor spend with the patient. A detailed history is going to be more than a focused history. High complex, it's going to be more than detailed. So it depends on that. So let's take a look at this. We know it's an office visit, new patient, detailed history and exam, low complexity medical decision making. So it's an office visit, right? It's not these other things that are coming down here. It's an office visit. And every time that a patient comes to a clinic, they have an office visit charge. It's a 992 number, and you'll get used to this as we go along. So if I click on that link, we can see that a lot comes up. And I have found, again, with this particular site, it's easiest to just kind of start to skim over if there's not too many. This one only has a result of 10, so it's not too many. So if you start going through, they kind of go through the least complex to the most complex. So as we start to kind of read through, this one says it's a new patient, but it's a problem focused. Well, ours says it's more detailed. So I don't think it's that one. The next one is expanded problem. Still not exactly right. Here, this one that we're looking at, 99203, says it's an office visit. It's a new patient, and it's a detailed history and exam. Decision making is low complexity. So that really is exactly what this says, right? It's a new patient, detailed history and exam, low complexity. So 99203 is probably our code. We could look at the other ones and see, but as we look, the next one down says it's comprehensive history, moderate complexity and decision making. Well, that isn't what our record shows, right? So I think it's 99203. We can click on that and read it again if we want. Kind of gives us some more information. You could look at view related codes. Here's a hint if you're kind of close, but you're not sure. If you click related codes, it kind of gives you the ones before, after, and around it. But for us, for letter A of case 5.1, the correct CPT code is 99203. And that's what we would record. All right, let's look at letter B. Letter B is a hospital visit for a new patient, comprehensive history and exam, highly complex case. Let's go back to our browse codes. CPT here and browse codes. And it's an evaluation and management because it doesn't say it's surgery or anything. It just happens to be in the hospital. So we're going to expand our evaluation and management. We're doing some type of an evaluation. And as you look through the different links here, you'll notice this one here says hospital inpatient services. And we're going to click on that. It doesn't say it's an observation, right? It says it's a service. And so as we start to look through our results, we've got more here. This one, I tried to use keywords, and I was not successful using the site using keywords. So I found that just clicking on the hospital inpatient link worked best. So as you start to go through RB, I should read it here. So it's a new patient, comprehensive history and exam, highly complex case. So kind of the same thing. As we start with our codes, it starts with, kind of a detailed one, and then we talk about comprehensive history, an exam, which is right, but it should say highly complex. It says moderate complexity here for 99222. Looking at the next one here, we've got a comprehensive history exam, high complexity, 99223. And if we go to 4, it actually is different, right? Problem focused here. This one says it's straightforward, low complexity. Well, that's not right. 99223 has the components of our line of information here. So if we click on it, we can read it again. It's for inpatient. It's a comprehensive history exam, It's got all the information in it that we have in our information. Note that more and more healthcare documentation, when providers either dictate information or they click on fillable forms, they want to know on those, they're supposed to be noting how much time they're spending with the patient, how complex things are, because it helps with this coding. So for case 5.1, letter B, the correct CPT code is 99223. All right, let's move on to letter C. Office consultation by the physician assistant for established patient, comprehensive history and exam, moderate complex decision making. All right, so it's an office consultation. Let's go back and browse. I always think it's easiest to go back and start to browse. So we know it's evaluation and management. Our book tells us we're looking under this section, so we're going to expand this out. It says office consultation. Well, we don't want to click on the first one that's services. We see consultation services. That sounds a little bit more specific. So let's click on that link. And so as we start to read these, we kind of go through it here. It says it's an established patient comprehensive history, moderate complexity. So the first one here is a focused history, straightforward. That's not it. Office consult, new or established, expanded focus. That's not it either. Again, these providers, they use these keywords, hopefully to help us narrow these things down. So as we go through, low complexity, well, that's not right for 99243. The next one here, 99244, office consultation for a new or established patient, comprehensive history exam, moderate decision making. This seems to be the correct one, right? And we can click on it and read it again. If we're not sure, we want to see the codes before and after, we can click review related codes. But the correct one for case 5.1, letter C, is 99244. Okay, moving on. We're going to move on to letter D. All right, letter D, initial comprehensive physical exam for 64-year-old new patient. Again, let's go back. CPT, browse our codes. We're in evaluation and management. Let's expand that out. What do we know about physical exams? Well, physical exams are preventative medicine, right? We're not going in for something specific usually. It's usually preventative medicine. Physical exams, we do them yearly, should be, usually it's for preventative purposes. That's what we're going to look at here, preventative medicine services. All right, so this one has quite a few that have come up in our search. So this one we know it's initial, it's comprehensive, it's a new patient. So as we start to kind of go through and read them, some of them, look at right at the end, first way to quickly kind of scan through, our preventative medicines are distinguished by new or established patient and by age. So we can just quickly scan that right away at the end. It says age younger than 1 year, and then 1 to 4, 5 to 11. So that would be one way to kind of get through this quickly. All right, then we see it goes up to 18 to 39 years. Here we're 40 to 64. So we're kind of in our range here now because the patient is 64 years old. So let's start to look here at the very first one. Initial comprehensive preventative medicine, examination, new patient, 40 to 64 years old. This is the right one. right? It's the first time. It's a comprehensive. New patient, 64 years old. 99386 is the correct code for letter D of 5.1.